All right, welcome back. This is Database Development Design. This is Dr. Ben Larson. I'm your instructor for Raritan Valley Community College course. If you're not from my college class, feel free to just follow along the lessons. I do provide the materials so you can do the labs on your own. This lesson will be our week 3. We're going to do our SQL lesson for the where clause. Okay, so remember last week we learned a few terms here. Let's go up here. Let's just put this together. We learned about select, and that select allows us to filter columns, and that we have a wildcard, which is our asterisk, okay? Then we have from. From lets us choose which table we want to look at, okay? From there, we also added order by. Order by sorts based on column we pick, and it is by default, it is ascending, which the keyword is ASC. If you want to go the other way, the key phrase is DSCC. We also learned about as, which allows us to alias a phrase, and we learned about top. Top allows you to put whatever number you put in here, that's how many results will return, how many lines will return, okay? The where clause now, this allows us to filter, while the select allows us to filter, wildcard, allows us to filter by the columns, and from lets us choose the table, top lets us cut down like a number of records, where lets us filter records by many phrases, many readers. So the where clause comes, the most important thing with SQL, SQL's pretty easy going, but order of operations matters. So in this basic, what we have so far in this select from, where comes after from. One easy one to remember, order by always comes at the end. So that's not my favorite because it's nice and easy to remember. It's always at the end. Okay, so where we use to filter down the columns we want, records. Okay, we're not filtering fields. That's what the select statement's for. We are filtering records and rows. Okay, so in this example here, we say select star from table 1, where column 1 equals whatever value we want. Okay, so we have some basic logical operators like you would find in other languages you have. So equals is just a simple equal sign. We don't have to worry about that double equal you get like in Python or Java. These two can both be used for does not equal. It's either bang and an equal sign or the greater than less than facing each other. Greater than and greater than or equal to, and less than or less than or equal to. These two are important to remember because remember, greater than, if you say greater than 18, you'll get 19 and above, but 18 will be excluded. If you want 18 included, you say greater than or equal to. Okay, so that's very important. So in this example, we're selecting from our table called employee where the age of the employee equals 40. Okay, that's what this clause returns. Okay, so I can also do this example here where I said where the age is greater than 40. Okay, so please remember that, as I said before, I'm sure this is how you learned it in algebra in school, but we don't have those keys on a computer, so we use the greater than or equal to, right there. So we can also use dates. So I have a higher date, and I say greater than. Now, one thing to notice in SQL is two things. Number one, we use single quotes. It's very important. And dates, unlike a number, dates have to be wrapped in the quotes, and they are in orders. We say we have 4 numbers for the year, 2 for the month, 2 for the day. Okay, so if I were to go into our SQL server here, let me change the screen so you can see better. And if I went back, let's just, give myself a new query. And if I select star from that one table we had in our custom orders, and if I execute, I get some custom orders. So if I want to sit back and say, hey, I only want where the tran date, we have a date here, tran date is greater than, let's say 2021. Let's say January 1st, 2021. So you would sit there and say 2021-01-01, close that out. Now you look, I've got some 2013, 11, all these dates right there. When I go to execute this, now you notice all my dates are greater than 2021, okay? So that's right there. I could go the other way around too. You know, I could say this, and it'd be the same thing. Now everything's below 2021. I can also do it. Now, if I want to do it for my prices, I don't need to put that number because the prices are simply a number. They're an integer. So if I sat there and said anything greater than $600 and execute, that will work. Oh, wait, sorry, I forgot to change this. Oops, you got to make sure you change the column correctly. That would be my mistake here. I forgot to change the column I'm trying to filter on. Which is price. I don't know what I was thinking. I was having an issue there. Another thing you can do in between here is we have a between. So if I want to say it's between $600 and let's say 1,000, okay? Now between, keep in mind, between will give you, okay, let's start with six, just to show you, 645, okay? So if I said 645, it's there. So between is like greater than or equal to and less than or it's the equal to sign. Anything on either side will be included in this. Okay, it's not like if I said greater than 645 where it'll exclude it. So between, you can use it for that. You can use it for dates, all kinds of stuff like that. So let's go back to the slides real quick and take a look at where we're going. All right, so that's our greater than, less than, and just with dates, keep in mind, this is the format. This is the we would do it. So this date, I've got an example of first name from employee where hire date is 2020. So this gives me exact hire date right there. So now this example, I say same thing from this employee where hire date is not, see, not equal to. So that gives me, it does not return Priyanka who was hired on March 3rd. It returns everybody else that wasn't, okay? And between. This is what I was showing earlier when we were in SQL there. I was showing between. So between is, generally you want to have the smaller number up front, but it'll give you between the ranges of something, okay? And really fast, I want to show you, I guess I didn't do the does not include in SQL. So let's go ahead. We know we have an example of 645. So let's go ahead and say our price is equal to 645. This one comes out, then I can sit there and say price is not equal to, put a bang in front. I'll get everything else. Or I can say price is not equal to. It'll give me the same results, okay? So that's it, the greater than. If I say it's greater than that, I won't get it. If I say it's greater than or equal to, you'll see it in there, especially if I order by price so I can see my results really quick. Order by price, run this. And now you'll see my 645 is there. If I get rid of the equal sign, it will no longer be there. But that's just some really quick on using the logical operators. Okay, let's go back. Now, the where clause strings, okay? If we're gonna use a string, because we've been using numbers and dates so far, again, we use the single quote. We are not case sensitive. We do not care about case at all. I can show you that here. I can go to, let's pick a thing here, cash, okay? Payment cash. So I can sit there and say where payment equals cash. Watch this. I've got the first two letters lowercase and the last two uppercase, and it doesn't care. It's fine. It's not case sensitive. You can make it case sensitive, but most people would not be happy if you did that in a SQL environment. So, but anyway, so for strings, we have the equal if we know the full string. Okay. Now, if we do not know the full string, let's say we don't know a person's name, we don't know how to spell Keith, or all we're looking for is everybody whose first name starts with K, we're going to use a wildcard. Now, I know we had a wildcard of an asterisk sign in our SQL, but in our select statement, but our select statement, that's only for the select statement. That's our columns. Our wildcard for our where statement is the percentage sign, okay? And we can no longer use equal. Now we have to use the phrase like, okay? Like K. So if I go back to here and I go back to here and I say to myself, customer orders where payment is like, instead of payment equals cash, I say payment like C, and I execute, I get cash, credit card, check. I guess that's probably, that's a bad one to pick. I'm gonna go with department. So I'll say department is like D, okay? Or department's like C. We have a department, we have the clothing department there. Say department's like C, and there you go. These are all the clothing department. Another one we can do is you can have it this way. You can do it in the front. The percentage sign represents as many letters. It can be words even, entire phrases. And you can even do a middle ground. You can put something in between there. Starts with an E, ends with an S. Okay, that would be electronics only. So that's your like. Now the other ones we have, if it's not that way, if you want it to be not that, you just literally say not like. Okay, there you go. All right. Let's see. Back to here. So that's our like. And so keep in mind the percentage sign can be as many letters as possible, multiple words. It's whatever side it sits on. So this will say it starts with K and it has anything after. Or if you had it at the end, you'd have as many records you want in front, but whatever ends in letter K. So again, not like is what we have. I showed you the not like. Okay. We do have a second wildcard. I'm going to show it to you. I've never found a valid use for it before because but it only replaces one letter. So the question mark. So bad would return bed or bid, but not bread or beads, since only stand in for one character. This can replace as many as you want, including if I did B percentage sign D, I could have Bob likes to get lunch from the hot dog stand. It'll return that as long as bed, bread, and all these others, okay? So wildcards can go in front or at the end or the middle like above, okay? And you can even have a wildcard like this. This wildcard will return Brooklyn because it's got a B, there's a K in the middle, and an N at the end, okay? It won't return Brian because there's no K in the middle. So you can use the wildcards as extensive like that, okay? And again, the not like, if we don't want it, we use not like. So not like will return anything that does not start with B. So we have no first name B here. Okay, null. Null is a special character. Null is not zero. Null is not an empty space. Null is that. Null is non-existent. So when we null something within SQL, we use the phrase is. Is null, where column is null. Or if we don't want null, we say is not null. Okay, two phrases, null or is not null. And ors we have, you probably remember these from any programming language you had, but an and and an or where you can add an and or to a where statement. So I have a where state equals Delaware and name first equals B. Make sure you have both state, both column names too. Because even if you want to do one like, let's just say here, right, say, let me go back to here. Say where department is equal to dairy, or I could say our department is equal to toys. But notice I have to write the word department twice. If you don't write the word department twice, it's going to have no idea what you're talking about, okay? So that'll give us both dairy and toys. But just make sure you use the or twice, or you actually use the actual column name twice, sorry. Let's go back to here. So, but that returns these, they both have to be alike. So if you remember the statement behind this, actually here, I'll just really quick here. Or, I just showed you or, and I just want to get to this real fast. So remember from the arguments are, and if argument one is true and argument two is true, you're true. Everything else is the only way your and statement is true is if both apply. So a person has to be from Delaware and their name has to start with B. In this example, or name has to be above the age of 30, or their name can start with P. So you have Priyanka, who's only 26, but she starts with the age, but she is, her name starts with P, so that's okay. So this is a good chart to remember. So remember, the only one with and is both are true. The only one with or is all are false. That's the only way you get false. All right. All right. Thanks a lot. Come back for the next class, which will be our lab. Thank you.